Leonardo da Vinci, the mind that touched everything. He painted angels, but dissected corpses. He designed weapons, yet worshipped nature. He was born illegitimate, but rose to become the mind the world still calls genius. Leonardo da Vinci, the artist, the scientist, the dreamer, the man who touched everything and changed everything he touched. This isn't just the story of the Mona Lisa. It's the story of a soul that belonged to no one time and yet shaped them all. Leonardo was born on April 15, 1452, in the small Tuscan town of Vinci. An illegitimate child to a notary father and a peasant mother. No last name, no claim to status, just Leonardo from Vinci. But from the start, the boy saw what others didn't. Where others saw a bird, Leonardo saw the movement of wings. Where others saw a shadow, he saw the arc of the sun. Denied formal education in Greek or Latin, Leonardo taught himself through observation. Nature became his first and finest teacher. Water, light, anatomy, flight. He wanted to know it all, and not just know it, understand it. At 14, he was apprenticed to Andrea del Verrocchio in Florence, a city blooming with Renaissance energy. Sculpture, painting, architecture, mechanics. He absorbed it all like a sponge thirsty for knowledge. And then he surpassed the master. When Leonardo painted an angel in Verrocchio's Baptism of Christ, it was said the older artist never touched a brush again. His talent wasn't just rare, it was revolutionary. His notebooks from this time burst with sketches. Human muscles, flying machines, water wheels, war devices. To Leonardo, art was science. Science was art. The boundary between disciplines did not exist. Everything connected. In 1482, Leonardo moved to Milan, offering his services not as an artist, but as a military engineer. He proposed bridges that folded, weapons never seen before, and cities that breathed like living organisms. But he painted too, and from this period came one of his most ambitious works, The Last Supper. Painted on the walls of the convent of Santa Maria delle Grazie, this wasn't just a religious scene, it was an explosion of psychology. Christ calm at the center, the apostles erupting in reaction, each gesture telling a story. It wasn't perfect. The experimental technique he used began flaking within years. But Leonardo wasn't painting for permanence. He was painting the soul in motion. While kings and popes paid for paintings, Leonardo's true masterpiece lived in his notebooks. Over 7,000 pages of drawings, diagrams, mirror-written thoughts. He studied the human body by dissecting cadavers at night. He drew fetuses in the womb, muscles stretching, bones twisting, centuries ahead of his time. He envisioned machines that wouldn't be built for 400 years. Flying devices with flapping wings, scuba suits for underwater travel, the precursor to the helicopter, an armored tank. He never published them. He didn't care about credit. For Leonardo, the pursuit of knowledge was the reward. In the early 1500s, Leonardo returned to Florence and later moved to Rome, working under the patronage of Pope Leo X. But while Raphael painted and Michelangelo sculpted, Leonardo grew restless. He was older now and slower. Projects began but were never finished. Anatomy studies remained unpublished. Sculptures were sketched but never carved. He began to feel time slipping through his fingers. And yet, in the midst of this, he painted her. She has no eyebrows, no jewels, no elaborate clothing, and yet she's the most famous face in the world. The Mona Lisa, painted not for kings or cathedrals, but for a Florentine merchant's wife. Or maybe not. No one knows for sure. What we do know is this. Leonardo worked on her for years, carrying her with him everywhere. Layer after layer, not just of paint, but of light, atmosphere, mystery. That smile, subtle, haunting, alive, is not a smile you capture. It's one you chase. In 1516, King Francis I of France invited Leonardo to live at the Château du Clos-Lucé. He was old, his right hand paralyzed, but his mind still burned like a forge. Here, he taught, he dreamed, he walked in the gardens and spoke of flight, of floods, of philosophy. On May 2, 1519, at age 67, Leonardo da Vinci died. It said the king held him as he passed. He left behind no children, no school of followers, only notebooks and ideas. Leonardo da Vinci lived not one life but many. He was a painter, sculptor, architect, engineer, anatomist, botanist, philosopher, visionary. Where others built in one direction, he spread like light, touching everything, mastering nothing, but understanding more than most could in 10 lifetimes. He asked questions no one dared, drew things no one had seen, dreamed of machines before metal could form them. He wasn't just of the Renaissance, he was the Renaissance. Leonardo da Vinci, the illegitimate son from Vinci, the man who painted with atoms and wrote with wonder, the mind that touched everything and left nothing the same.